Profile of Van Morrison. So we have a thing called a Manic Q&A where we get pop stars and we ask them certain questions. We're very, very honoured to have Damian O'Neill of the Undertones and Untitled Emotion, and in a solo style, agreed to do one for us for this programme. And here it is. Manic Q&A. What is your name and what musical outfit are you a member of?
My name's Damian O'Neill. I'm the guitarist with the Undertones, also That Petrol Emotion, The Everlasting Yeah, and more recently, Damian O'Neill and the Monotones.
What is your first musical memory?
That would be probably when I was singing in the Christian Brothers School Choir when I was probably about 9 or 10 at the Dairy Fish, which is like a traditional Irish music cultural event that happens every Easter. Little did I know that Michael Bradley, my future songwriting partner and fellow Undertone, was also in the same choir as me. I didn't know him at the time because he was a year above me, but I have this picture from the local paper to prove it, that he was there as well as me.
What was the first record you bought?
That would be Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. I think it was 1975. Yes, I'm afraid I was one of the 6 million or so who bought it.
Have you still got it? And do you still like it?
No, I don't have it. I guess it probably went into the conveniently missing pile once punk came along. It was kind of like year zero when punk came along. Do I still like it? Kind of do, but maybe only up to the operatic bit when it's kind of frankly hilarious then after that onwards. But I still love it. Early Queen singles though, like Killer Queen, Seven Seas of Rye.
What was the first gig you attended as a member of the audience?
That would be at St. Colum's Hall in Derry, and I think it was in January '75. There was a great Irish rock band called Horselips who were playing, and they were quite famous at the time, especially in Ireland. Obviously then, because it was during the Troubles, not many bands would play, especially in Northern Ireland. So, but Horselips always did. So I think they always considered Derry and Belfast as their second home because they always went down amazing. And I just remember watching them tear the place apart, and I just wanted to be, I think it made me want to be in a band after seeing them.
What was the first gig you played?
That would be St Mary's Scout Hall in the Cregan, and again in Derry in I think it was February '76. I don't think we were called the Undertones at the time. We didn't really have a name. Fergal Sharkey, our singer, used to help out with the Boy Scouts, so we used to practice there at this sort of Scout Hall. And I think eventually Fergal, I guess he must have asked the Scout leader if we could do a concert, and the Scout leader agreed. So our first audience would have been probably a bunch of 9-year-old cubs, and I think we probably got paid in lemonade and sweets or something.
Have you ever screamed or cried at a gig?
I was probably doing both when me and my brother Vincent and our good friend Eugene, we saved up our dole money to go all the way to Manchester to see Johnny Thunders and Heartbreakers, supported by Susie and the Banshees. This was at Manchester Uni in October '77. That was our very first time in England and our very first punk concert. We were huge, massive fans of the New York Dolls, and Johnny Thunders was my guitar hero. So I think seeing him play, you can imagine, I was only 16 or 17, 16 actually, watching him playing two feet in front of me, it was something you'd never forget, and easily the best concert ever been to.
What is the most ridiculous item of clothing you have ever donned?
I believe there's dodgy photographic evidence, actually a film of me wearing a baggy salmon pink suit with a matching black beret at this Rock Palace festival in Germany in 1981. It was during an Undertone show. My God, pretty embarrassing.
If you could go back in time and prevent one band in particular from forming, who would it be and why?
Well, I think heavy metal music's my bête noire. Absolutely, it's appalling. And I know there's so many awful heavy metal bands out there to choose from, but I guess I'd have to go for Guns N' Roses, really. Mainly, they're so cliched, their rock and roll antics. And Axl Rose's voice, oh dear, that high-pitched whinny voice, it's so bad. And I can't forgive Slash either for inventing the worst guitar intro for Sweet Child of Mine. It's even worse than Stairway to Heaven. That's how bad it is.
Have you ever had a fight on stage? And if so, with whom and who won?
I never had a fight on stage, thankfully. Although I did once jump into the audience during an Undertone show in Dusseldorf in Germany to remonstrate with basically this skinhead. He was really winding me up. He was messing about with my microphone stand, and I was warned not to do it again, and of course he did. So I just lost it and dropped my guitar on stage and jumped in. And I don't know, I must have hit him or something. But anyway, he got chucked out, thankfully, and I just remember getting a appreciative cheer from the audience when I went back on stage again. So there you go.
If you could be a fly on the wall in any band's dressing room, which band would it be and why?
Love to be in a fly on the wall at James Brown's dressing room before and after that famous concert he played in Boston the night after Martin Luther King's assassination. I think it was on the 5th of April, 1968. Because, you can imagine that the tension backstage must have been incredible, not knowing if that performance is even just going to turn into a riot or not. Thankfully it didn't. I think it was televised and locally, and I think because of that, Boston, they remained relatively calm that night. There was no fatalities, so that was just, it would have been amazing to be there to see, just to hear what people are talking about and saying things.
Have you ever asked anyone for their autograph?
Yeah, plenty times. Main ones, my favourite ones really. I've got a Stranglers set list signed by the band when, again, the Undertones supported them in Portrush in Northern Ireland, and I think it was in '78. But even better, my favourite thing, I've got a baseball bat signed by the Clash when the Undertones supported them on their East Coast American tour in October, I think it was, 1979. That's a good one, isn't it?
What is your most treasured possession?
I've got an original Wes Wilson psychedelic poster from the Fillmore Auditorium in San Francisco from 1966. Wes Wilson's a famous artist, designer. He did a lot of those great psychedelic posters back then. But this one is my favourite because them are headlining. So it's them supported by, I think, a band called Sons of Champlain, who, I don't know, I've never really heard of them. But it's a beautiful poster, and I've got it nicely framed, so I would hate to ever lose that.
And finally, have you got a message, polite or otherwise, you would like to pass on to Marc Riley?
Just keep on playing great new music, Mark. You've got a fantastic show, and what can I say? Thanks for asking me to do your Manic Q&A.
BBC Radio 6 Music. You are now